His name was James Carter. We met at university. He was charming, driven, a little arrogant, but he had this way of making me feel like I was the only person in the room. We dated for 4 years. We shared everything: first apartments, frozen dinners, career plans, dreams. He'd whisper to me late at night, "You and me, Em, we're unstoppable." And I believed him. When he proposed, I cried, not because I was surprised, I always knew we'd end up together, but because I thought life had finally given me something real. I planned every detail of that wedding like it was the beginning of a fairy tale. My parents helped, my best friends flew in, and I couldn't stop smiling when I walked down the aisle. But when I got to the altar, James wasn't there. 10 minutes passed, then 20, then an hour. Whispers started. My dad gripped my hand, and finally his best man walked up to me and said, "He left." No explanation, no apology, just gone. I didn't leave the house for weeks. My mom brought me food I didn't eat. My phone buzzed with texts I never opened. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the empty altar. And every time I opened them, I felt the shame. The worst part? Everyone kept saying, "You're lucky you found out before it was too late." But I didn't feel lucky. I felt abandoned, like I wasn't even worth a goodbye. Eventually, I packed up my things and moved to a small town 2 hours away. I found a one-bedroom apartment above a laundromat. I worked as a freelance designer just to pay rent. I didn't go out. I didn't trust anyone. But one night, I looked in the mirror, and I didn't recognize the woman staring back. That's the night I made a promise. He doesn't get to define the rest of my life. I started building not a relationship, not a rebound, but a business. I poured every ounce of heartbreak into my work. At first, I designed logos for bakeries and local shops. Then, I taught myself branding, marketing, and strategy. Every project made me better. Every failure taught me something. 2 years later, I launched my agency, Emerge Studios. The name came from what I felt, like I was finally stepping out of the shadows. I hired 2 interns, then 5 employees. I opened a small office, then a bigger one. By year 5, we had 70 employees, clients in 10 countries, and major media attention. I had everything I thought I lost, and more, not because I found love, but because I found myself. It was just another Tuesday when HR handed me a stack of resumes. We were hiring for a new creative director. I scanned through the usual names and portfolios until I saw it. James Carter, resume attached, cover letter submitted. I stared at it for 10 whole minutes, same face, same crooked smile. But now, it was me holding the pen. I called my assistant. "Bring him in for an interview, personally." He walked into the building 2 days later, wearing a cheap suit and the same old smirk. I watched him from my office window. He didn't even recognize the company name. When he entered the interview room and saw me, he froze. "Emily?" I smiled. "Mr. Carter, have a seat." The silence was suffocating. "You run this place?" "I built it," I said, "from scratch." The interview began. I asked about his experience. He stumbled. His resume was impressive, but the cracks were obvious. I asked why he left his last job. He blamed management. I asked why he wanted this one. He said he needed a fresh start. "Funny," I said. "I needed one of those too, about 5 years ago." His face turned red. "Emily, I didn't know how to face you. I panicked. I was young." "We were both young," I replied, "but only one of us grew up." The interview ended. I stood, offered my hand, and said, "We'll be in touch." He waited 3 days for an answer. HR asked if I wanted to proceed. I said no, but not out of anger, not out of hate, because I had nothing left to prove. I sent a note to HR. Candidate does not meet leadership standards. Declined. Then I closed the file and walked into a meeting with a global client. Because while James was still explaining why he left, I was busy becoming someone no one could walk away from. I haven't seen James since. I heard he moved again. Maybe he's changed. Maybe not. But this story, it's not about him. It's about what happens when you stop waiting for closure and start building your own future. It's about how pain can shape you, but it doesn't have to break you. And most of all, it's proof that karma doesn't always show up loudly. Sometimes it walks in wearing heels, holding a clipboard, and offering you a job interview.